What is up, you guys? This is your boy Andy Matrix to talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, and Japanese culture. So today we're gonna talk about why China doesn't need American movies, American video games. China doesn't need anything. As a matter of fact, they have a lot of control over a lot of our products. And I'm also gonna talk about anime and basically how China's influence on anime has already begun. So before we go ahead and continue, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, make sure to like this video to help other people find the channel, find the video. And I'm on a journey to 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to help out, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, I am here at the Atlantic.com, and it says how Hollywood sold out to China. So one of the first times that I noticed this was with the Transformers movie. I think it was with the third or fourth Transformers movie that took place in China, right? The movie took place in China, and the movie actually did really good in China. As a matter of fact, I think they built like a Transformers statues. I think was it in Beijing or Shanghai, and from then on, it seemed like a lot of movies just always added a Chinese character to the movie. I remember in Ready Player One, there was Daito and Shoto. They were both Japanese, but they turned Shoto into Chinese by naming him Sho, and basically to have like a Chinese character for the Chinese audience, right? It's just something that they do, right? And then we saw how Disney will do things for China, such as removing Finn from the poster when it's advertised to China. Gee, I wonder why you had to remove the black guy from the poster. Gee, I'm just wondering. So Hollywood has sold out to China, right? So the Atlantic says a culture of acquiescing to Beijing censors is now the norm, and there's little sign of it changing. Hollywood slowly started to pander to China because, China, they had 2 billion people. They had 2 billion people. America only has 350 million, So with 2 billion people in China, there's a lot of money to be made. A lot of people to go to the theaters, So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Right? And then, but eventually Hollywood started to see that China does not really like their movies or the things that they add to the movie, because here's what I don't understand. Because on the one hand, Hollywood wants to push things like the transgender, LGBT, and feminism, and basically effeminate men. Hollywood likes to promote all these things, basically a lot of like leftist ideologies. And I'm not trying to be political here, but this is just, they've shown it time and time again. Just a lot of leftist ideologies, but they want to push those things, but they also want to make money in China. And the thing about China is that China is against all of those things. China is absolutely against all of those things, right? I mean, China, you're talking about the country that China literally banned feminism, okay? China banned feminism. So, and they've done other things such as, instead of having a one-child policy, now they have the 3-child policy. Families are allowed to have more than one child, to balance out the the households and the population in China, right? And in the West, we're kind of like doing the opposite. People are told not to have kids and not to do this and that. And again, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just comparing the two countries, seeing how the ideas that Hollywood is pushing, like like a strong single woman that don't need any man. And in China, they're like, no, we need more children, have kids. But and then we see this in all our films, in our American films. These leftist ideologies are being pushed. You have Rey from Star Wars, that's like a strong, independent woman, Finn tries to hold her hand, and she's like, no, get away from me, right? It's a lot of things. So they want to make money in China, but they don't want to, they don't want to make the correct type of conservative movies for China. You understand? Like, whenever there's a homosexual scene in China, they remove it. Homosexual scenes, they are cut out from the theaters in China, right? And that is why Hollywood, they're slowly, cutting their relationship with China. Says, so here at the Hollywood Reporter says, this year Hollywood's China relationship finally unraveled. This is December 2021. Said it doesn't matter how accommodating this industry may be, the next phase of the Xi Jinping era may be defined by less space for Western content. We've seen this time and time again. Since 2014, when Warner Bros. Drafted LeBron James to star in Space Jam sequel, the film was tailored to appeal above all else to the almighty Chinese market. After all, James was a huge commodity in the basketball-obsessed country. Yeah, China loves basketball. China loves basketball. See, in the basketball-obsessed country where his signature Nike sneakers are made, along the way, the future Hall of Famer avoided poking the China bear, even if the China they're talking about Xi Jinping, right? The China bear, Winnie the Pooh. China bear, even if it meant drawing outrage when he criticized Houston Rockets GM Daryl Morey in 2019 for tweeting his support for Hong Kong protesters, calling him misinformed. A notable more giving James vocal stance in police brutality issues in former President Trump's so-called Muslim travel ban. At the time, videos of the police crackdowns on Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement were circulating widely, while it was well reported that more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims were being held in internment camps. Yeah, so basically, the Space Jam movie, we know all LeBron James is a CCP supporter, and he and the point is that Hollywood, they know that it's just not working. It's just not working. China is way too different. They don't like anything. They don't align with our values, our leftist ideologies values. And so maybe we should just not pander to them anymore. And maybe we should not have as many movies over there anymore. And same thing with video games. See, America is big on video games. A lot of other countries are actually big on video games, but China, they actually banned Steam. I talked about this recently. They banned Steam, right? And, it's funny because China, they will promote their own video games to America, like Genshin Impact, but they won't allow a lot of American games into China, right? It's just funny. It's just kind of funny how that works. It's like, yeah, you can buy our products, but we're not using your products, dumbasses, right? We're conservative. We got our own shit, right? And China has their own version of everything. They have their own version of Google. They have their own YouTube. I forgot what it's called, but they have their own YouTube video content website. They have their own search engine. I'm pretty sure they have their own Steam type of video game service, right? I mean, recently, if you guys know anything about the tech industry, GitHub, which used to be a huge it's like this huge website for programmers to share code and things like that, right? Well, China has banned it, right? Well, I don't know if they banned it, but they're making their own GitHub, right? Something that is owned by Microsoft. Now they're gonna make their own called Github. It's called Github, and it basically does the same thing as GitHub. It's just for China, right? So China makes their own versions of everything, and the reason why I say that China does not need American movies or video games, I mean, take a look. Chinese movies are very lucrative in China. The Chinese box office is huge. I mean, it's crazy huge. Okay, so if you go to the Business Insider, we see some of their top movies. Most of them are Chinese, right? So A Writer's Odyssey, Chinese movie, made $150 million. in China. It says Cliff Walker's Chinese movie made $180 million. Says the Chinese Communist Party special agents are put in danger while a mission after one of their own betrays them. Right? So, I mean, you can see by the description of the movie, it tells you right there. Godzilla vs. Kong, I think. I'm not sure how involved China was involved in making this movie, but it did really well in China, right? Chinese doctors, already know, made almost $200 million. Raging Fire, $200 million. Fast and Furious. The Fast and Furious are based, these movies are popular worldwide. So I don't think the Chinese, that China was involved in making this movie very much, but it did really well in China, right? Here's another Chinese movie, right? It's about a Chinese family. Detective Chinatown. I actually know about this one. This one did really well. $685 million in China alone without the help of the US, right? Without America, they're doing all this. Hi Mom, another Chinese movie about time travel. The Battle at Lake Changjin, another Chinese movie. Again, they have their own types of movie, whether if it's sci-fi, fantasy, everything. Okay, they don't really need America. even with video games and movies, and actually, now that we talked about movies and video games, let's go on and talk about anime, because China has their own view on anime. Okay, they have their own way of looking at anime and things that they're willing to tolerate and not tolerate. For example, we already talked about this one in previous videos. Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid was heavily censored in China, right? I talked about this, like the Dragon Maid's boobs. Well, this character, her boobs were like what? Freaking J cups, G cups. They were like massive. China shrunk them down to like a C cup. Again, J cups, G cups shrunk down to a C cup or a B cup. See, big boobies shrunk down. I mean, I don't understand. Like, do they not like big boobies? I mean, everybody loves them, right? Same here. Big shrunk down to small. Big shrunk down to small. I mean, it's it tells you everything you need to know. The censorship is huge. I mean, they don't even like accept that in China. And then but then they haven't, and they have their own anime called Link Click animated series will get a Japanese dub. See that? This Chinese series called Link Click is going to be basically translated into Japanese. So Japanese actors, they're gonna get, they're gonna translate from Chinese to Japanese, a Chinese anime. Okay, so a lot of Chinese anime are making their way into Japan. This is happening. We talked about this before, guys. This is happening. Right, so this is from Donghua, which is Chinese animation series. Link Click will be getting a Japanese series. By the way, this is all from AnimeSenpai.net. You guys can check it out. So the series will be broadcasted in Japan, Tokyo, on January 2022, which is right next month after the New Year's. So the series follows a story of Cheng Xiaoxi and Lu Guang, two men with supernatural powers who run a small store called Time Photo Studio at a corner of the busy city. To fulfill the client request, both of them use supernatural abilities to enter the world of photos. Sounds pretty interesting. I mean, not sure if I would watch it, but hey, it sounds like an urban fantasy, similar to a lot of manga. So, and then we have Bilibili, right? This is from AnimeHunch.com. Bilibili unveils upcoming anime lineup plan to target global market, right? So China makes their own anime, their own cartoons, and they're targeting the entire world. Especially Japan, especially America, because they're trying to make money. And Bilibili, in case you guys did not know, Bilibili is basically a video streaming service similar to Netflix, but it's like the Netflix of China, right? So it says Bilibili changed its slogan from Made for China to Made for Global, as it looks to expand into international animation market. Right? But here's the thing. They're making anime in China and putting it out there into the world. Therefore, it's anime for China, but it's just translated into other languages. It's anime with China in mind. They're not going to tell you that, but that's basically what it is. It's anime made for China. It's just like Japan. Okay, Japan makes anime and manga with the Japanese crowd in mind. And then they promote it to other countries, and because they have so much creative freedom, other countries love it, and usually a lot of manga do really, really well, especially the shonen stuff, right? And then we have and then another funny thing that I've learned is that a lot of Japanese animators prefer to work for China because of better pay. China is paying Japanese animators much better, so they leave Japan, go to China, or I don't know, maybe they work remotely, I don't know, but they are working for China. Okay, this Japanese website called Precedent.jp posted an article called "The Seriousness of Japan-China Reversal for Progressing in Animation Production," in which he discusses how Japanese animators are now preferring to work for Chinese animation industries because of better work environment and better pay. We all know about those work environments in Japanese animation companies, right? So Japan needs to step up their game because China is taking their lunch. China is eating their lunch. I mean, not in big numbers, but it's happening. Okay, and little do you guys know that a lot of Japanese companies now, they're outsourcing the work to Chinese animators now more than ever. This is happening, guys. This is really, really happening. So this is on a large scale, very large scale, and Japanese. I mean, and I'm glad, for their sake, I'm glad that a lot of Japanese animators, they're making more money, because it's like you wanna be involved in the anime industry, but you don't want to be a slave. So the wages in Japan are slave wages, but China's giving them a better deal. China is really good at making better deals. This is not just with animation or the movie industry. Take a look at other countries, like what China is doing in Arabia, in the Middle Eastern countries, in South American countries, and African countries. They're making really good deals with those countries, and as a result, they get more business and more trust from those companies, right? China is doing all of this, right? While in the West, people are like fighting against each other, and in Japan, it's like Japan is kind of stagnating. That being said, I do not believe that China will be #1 in animation. I don't believe that, and I'm gonna make a separate video on that. But right now, we're just talking about how China does not need the West. I say within the next 10 years, we're gonna see a shift. By 2030, we're gonna see a shift of how China is basically going to conquer animation. Well, not entirely, but we're gonna see more Chinese animation coming from China and being translated into English. And yeah, and basically China is going to be this very self-sufficient force of a country that they just won't need the rest of the world, because, and again, you gotta remember, a lot of things are produced in China. Remember, made in China. They have their own factories, manufacturers. They make everything themselves. So they don't need us. They don't need the West. They don't need America. Maybe to sell us things, but other than that, China's very self-sufficient. So we'll see what happens in the next 10 years. But so far, this is basically what's going on. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. This is Andy Matrix. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Like this video. Comment below. Tell me what you think. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Andy Matrix. Godspeed.